Hey, Lee Robinson coming to you from American Sentinel Canine. I promised you a review on a knife that we chose for my son to do some hog hunting, and this is the knife that we selected for him. This is the Tops Hazen Legion 6.0. Now I'm going to explain why we chose this knife. In my opinion, it is like the perfect knife for a mid-size hog hunting and smaller. I would not want to go after the biggest boars with this knife, but we have other knives that are more suitable for larger hogs. But this, you can see this knife here is bigger in design with a larger blade. But this knife is selected for my son. And my son just turned 14 not long ago, and he weighs a little less than 100 pounds. And he's not gonna have the strength that a full-grown man will have to stab a boar with a knife. Now, this knife is large enough that it can still do the job for a mid-size hog, let's say 225 pounds and less, maybe even larger than that. I know some people that hunt hogs and fairly large hogs with just 6-inch blade. The cutting edge on this blade is actually 6 inches. The blade length is 6.5, but the cutting edge is 6. And that's if you measure straight. I'm not following the curve. You'll notice full tang design, and the blade is 3/16 of an inch thick. On the Wild Pig Hunter, the blade is a full 1/4 inch thick. So there's a side-by-side comparison where you can see that the Wild Pig Hunter is a little thicker in diameter than the Hazen Legion 6.0. Another difference is the blade height. On this one here, they say the distance from the back of the blade to the cutting edge. On their website, they market it as 1 inch, but I measured it, and it's actually about 1 1/32 or 1 1/16 of an inch. On the Wild Pig Hunter, it's actually 1 5/16 from the back to the cutting edge. So we have a wider blade, and we also have a thicker blade, and clearly you can also see that the Wild Pig Hunter is also a longer blade. On the Wild Pig Hunter, if you measure all the way to the guard, you have 8 inches. And when you stab an animal, that's about the depth that you're gonna go. The cutting edge on the Wild Pig Hunter is 7.5. On the Hazen Legion 6.0, like I said, the cutting edge is 6 inches, but the stabbing penetration ability would be 6.5 inches. So this is a lighter blade, and plus if you look at the handle on the Hazen Legion 6.0 is also going to be lighter. So in my opinion, this is like the perfect knife for a youth hunter. As you can see, my hand fills up the grip, and that was one of the complaints that was seen on this knife. When it comes to adult men for hog hunting, some adult men with really large hands said the grip was a little too small for them. Now for me, I do wear a size large glove. In some cases, I even wear an extra large. My palm is wide and my fingers are long, so I don't really have thick fingers. If you have really thick fingers, then this grip could be too small for you, all right? Because my hand just barely fits, but it fits my hand perfect. You know, this would be as small as I would want to go. Now, I do like the sweep on the back side of this grip because that promotes a good grip without a lanyard, and you'll notice there is no lanyard hole. I don't really like a lanyard hole, to be honest with you. I think you should just hold onto your blade, and this knife is conducive to that type of application. A good penetrating knife. It's kind of like a tactical, like self-defense design, or a good steak cutter design, you know, a steak knife, basically a kitchen knife. But that's near perfect for our applications, and I think this knife is going to serve my son very well. Lightweight, it only weighs like 9 ounces or something like that. You can look up those specs exactly, but it's considerably less than a lot of the knives that are on the market. That's going to be easy for him to carry, and it comes with a nice Kydex sheath. Some people will complain about this sheath. My son saw the sheath, but he doesn't really understand knives yet. He said, "Dad, this sheath is cheap plastic." I'm like, "It's Kydex. It's actually like the perfect sheath for hog hunting, because if it gets wet, the water will run right out. If it gets bloody, the water will run out." The Kydex is a great way for a good retention. It has a nice snap to it. It's a little hard to pull out, but it seems to be getting a little easier after a couple of inserts and outsides. It's got a metal clip. I actually thought it was going to have a plastic clip. I think the newer ones may have a plastic clip, and even though we just got it, we may have gotten it from a place that had an older inventory, but that's fine. I'm not at all disappointed with the metal clip or a plastic clip. I think they're both sufficient. But anyway, there is the Hazen Legion 6.0. The steel is 1095, and the edge has a hardness of 58 Rockwell, and the spine has a hardness of 56. Now, you would not want to use this as a camp knife or batoning because you can see it has a false edge here on the back. And this false edge is going to create a very thin, it looks like it's sharp, but it's not sharp. You can rub your finger on it, it's not going to cut you. But if you try to baton or something like that, you're going to destroy your baton because it just doesn't have enough thickness to it to absorb those blows from the baton without destroying the baton. It's going to whittle away on that baton. But that's okay for us because we didn't buy it for that application. We bought this knife for hog hunting applications for a penetrator, mid-size hunter, 14-year-old. And I think it's going to serve our purposes perfectly. Now, I will have a follow-up video on another knife that we had considered for my son, and that is the Silent Hero. If you want to check out that video, feel free to watch it. I'll link it to this one. But if you like our videos, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a blessed day.